Yippee, we're back. We're here. We're here to have fun. Thank you all for coming on. I'm Allison Lee, your host here at Craftcast. I want to say a little bit before we start. Our fearless leader tonight, Stephanie Chavez, is genius at all of this. And I love what she shows. And one of the reasons I got so excited about this product is having been trained to do gold work as a goldsmith. Um, I thought this product is so beautiful and people don't have to be afraid of it once we show them because I know you have to spend a little money to do this, but you get beautiful results. You can reuse and save everything. You don't waste a thing. It goes on easily, you'll see. So I got so excited. I asked Stephanie to come on and do this after we did our full class, and she was happy to come on. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for doing that. Um, Let me just give everyone a coupon code because we all do always do that when we're here. Um, at craftcast.com, the coupon code is I love gold, and you get 20% off. Uh, it's good for a week. Use that to go get Stephanie's class if you don't have it yet, because I think you'll want it after you see this, what she's going to show us tonight. So that's always fun. Also, if you want to just go have some fun with polymer clay, I still have them on my desk. Our recordings from all of our free Zooms are over on our Craftcast YouTube channel. But then also go look at how cute this is. We did polymer clay ornament making on Saturday. If you've never tried polymer clay, this is a great little one to start with. The advanced, if you buy the whole class, Mag showed us how to make these. They're a takeoff of the what are they called again? I can't remember. The bright ones. Remember the ornaments that from the 50s that break just by looking at them, but really beautiful. She even has a bonus in that one where she shows, I just dug this out to get on our tree. It's the tree topper with the little snowman. Anyway, it's fun. And that polymer clay is much more inexpensive. But we did put even together a kit of all the colors. We made it easy. So I'm just throwing that out there, especially like Patricia Snowden is fun if you have all your supplies to play, is what I say. Otherwise, it's not as much fun. Uh, Now, here is the class where you, if you don't have the class already, use your coupon code to go get Stephanie's class, Creating Alluring Vistas. And then here is and that link is in your handout that's in there. And then this is, see, those are some of the class samples up there in the right corner from Stephanie's class. And then I, I'm working now with Rhonda, who I adore over at Cool Tools, to put together kits for everyone so that well, it just benefits all of us and it makes it easy shopping for all of you. $152 for it, and I got the free shipping, so you don't have to worry about that as well. So use that link, and then we get credit for being a good person of doing everything, putting everything together. So it's great. But you can look through there. We have lots of kit information now. Misty just put that link in the chat box as well. And any questions about any of that, please just send emails to support@craftcast.com. Misty is great answering questions. We want everyone to be happy. So that's how we work at Craftcast. We like it that way. So just let us know. And with that, I'm turning it over to our fearless leader tonight. Stephanie is going to show us in these videos how to use this. I'm just telling you, get ready to be addicted. I'll be quiet now. Thank you, Stephanie, for showing us this.
You're good. I'm excited.
It, there you go.
All right, so this is how the solution comes. It has a little vial. You have the powder in one container and then a little vial of the mixing solution in the other container. So I just use a tiny little scoop and put a little bit of the powder on a glazed ceramic tile. And the mixing solution is kind of thick, almost oily-ish, but it's really thick, so it doesn't just pour out of the container. So I used a little pick to get some out, and I put it off to the side so I can control how much I'm mixing in. And then I just scooped up a little bit and mixed it with that pick. I like mixing it with a metal pick or something hard that you can scrape it off or clean it off. I don't like mixing it with a brush. I only use the brush after it's completely mixed. Um, so then I have it on the ceramic tile and it's wet. So now I have a little tiny brush, and this brush is dedicated to gold. So all I use it for is the gold. Um, the thing I love most about this gold painting powder is that it's very easy to control. So you can see I'm putting it on like the tiny little stars. Um, if you've ever done kombu, if you could imagine trying to cut out some gold foil to put on those stars, is you don't breathe, you wouldn't want to do anything. It'd be very, very difficult. So this gold paint makes it so easy. And I think the gold paint's a lot brighter than the foil too, in my opinion. Um,
I agree with you. Something you just said I think is key. I just paused the video a second. You said a
yeah.
glazed tile.
Yes. I make sure that it's glazed because then nothing will soak in, or seep into the surface. And it will be a lot easier to clean off as well.
And save all your gold.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I think that it's key that the brush has so much control. And you could probably even use a brush even with less bristles, the really little ones, if you wanted to just do dots or that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. All right, let's just take a few questions. Terry, you're going to see what you're looking at right now is not fired. That is raw clay, which is another thing that's so great because,
Yes, that's another major benefit with the gold paint is I love applying it to it. The clay is dry, the metal clay is completely dry, but it has not been fired. So I love applying it to the unfired metal clay pieces because then you can do one firing all at once.
right, right.
So,
Um, and you'll see
mhm.
what happens. That it works great. And you said, though, you can also use it on fired metal clay, correct?
Yes, yes, you can. So
Which I
if
think
you
is
had
great.
a piece you created before, you could, go back and put gold on it.
Yeah, which is
So,
very exciting. All right, let me take a few questions. We might be answering them as we move on. Oh, Rhonda said her gold powder arrived rock hard and in large clumps. How do I make it powder again without losing the gold in the grinder? Was it this gold?
uh, this
Let us,
comes in a powder form.
right.
If she got gold lump clay, it could be rock hard now. I have actually grinded down lump gold clay and done similar stuff with it.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Don't confuse this with clay. This is strictly the powder. And Ann wants to know, can you use this on fine silver, enriched 950, and sterling?
Yes, I have tried it on all of them. When you are doing like Kembu, it is common practice to do what is called depletion gilding. And what that does is bring the silver, the fine silver, to the surface of the metal so the gold adheres better. However, I haven't found that I've needed to do that with the enriched silver blends of clay. So like your 950 or 960, I've just applied the gold straight to it and it's been fine. I still would, just as precaution for the sterling silver clay, I would depletion gild it.
Okay, is that maybe what happened? Ann said she did it on sterling clay and it came right off.
Yeah, that it's possible then that's what happened. So for that one, you would not be able to apply it in the raw clay stage. You would have to fire it first and then depletion gild it.
Got it.
So,
Um,
but I've used it on the blends and it's been good.
you guys all have great questions, and I knew you would. You're going to see, Dory, how thick we should paint it. We have a still coming up. Or what would you say, Stephanie? It's just what? What would you say to that? How thick?
Kind of like a thicker acrylic paint, if that makes sense. Like maybe yogurt-ish consistency.
I know when you said that you've painted it on, you can see that it's all gold. You want to make sure that there's no clay showing through it. but it didn't look like it was thick, thick, thick or
Yeah,
anything
you don't
like
want
that.
it super thick. It's actually better to have thinner layers and layer it more than have it be super thick.
That makes sense.
So,
Um, and then Rhonda said, "Oh, it was gold. You had art clay gold paste, different kind of product." Okay, there you go. Yeah, different product. So we don't know the answer to that for this. Carol, clarification, can you use it on EZ 960? That's what you just
yeah.
mentioned. Yes,
Yeah, so that's any of the blends. They call them like enriched sterling, but they have a higher silver content than, sterling silver,
right.
925. So they have a higher fine silver content, which is why I assume it actually works better, on those than it would sterling silver.
Yes. Oh, that's a good question, Dory. Can it be used on sheet metal, meaning what? Fine silver sheet metal, Dory? Do you know the answer to that?
So you would do it the same way you would a fired piece, and you would have to, torch it or fire it as well. But yes, you can do it. So fine silver, you wouldn't have to depletion gild. But if
Right.
you're doing it on sheet silver, you would want to depletion gild it.
I can tell, Dory, your brain is working on something. I can feel it. Karen said, can the piece be enameled? That's a good question. Enameled afterwards. If so, what temperature is the highest to go?
Um, so that's a little tricky.
Yeah, because you've got enameling going on. Wouldn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Would you do the gold at the end?
well, for this one, it has to be torch fired, which could then I would always recommend doing gold last, but then you could, every time you refire enamels, they can change too. So you could have that possibility. But why I would do it last too is because you want to make sure your enamels are fully fused and, to that melting point that they need to be, which would be too hot for the gold, because if you do get the piece too hot and start, then the gold is actually heavier than silver, and so
So it'll
your
go
gold
in.
will sink into the silver.
Sounds like, Karen, you have a little bit of a test you're going to have to try there, but it's possible, which is good.
I've I've done Kimbu because with the gold foil, you don't have to get it quite as hot. So I've done Kimbu after enameling, but I have not tried this exact process with enameling yet.
I bet it could work and it would be great. That'd be a
Mhm.
great way to do. All right, so now we're going to do a little more video. You'll get more of your questions answered seeing this, like
So
this
this
one.
is, yep, this is a still shot of, on the left, you see that it's a lot darker. That's where the gold is still wet. And then the right is lighter colored where it's fully dried. And I like putting the side by side photo here because with the gold, you want to make sure that between layers, you're fully drying it between layers. And it also has to be completely dried before you fire it as well. And I've only needed to do 2 layers. I mean,
Yeah,
you could
okay.
do more, but I feel like 2 layers has been sufficient.
Well,
Um,
we see the piece at the end. I mean, it looks totally gold, so it obviously worked in two layers.
mhm.
But that's a really good thing to see there that you have to wait till it's that dry because that's a pretty big color shift.
Yes. And it doesn't take long to dry. You can dry it on a hot plate, as well too. Um, I like to let it kind of air dry more, just I guess maybe personal preference. I feel like if you dry it too quick, just depending on how hot your hot plate is, you could have some issues if you're trying to dry it way too hot or too fast.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
That
I
makes
do let
sense.
it doesn't take long and I just let it air dry between layers.
That makes sense, especially because of whatever's in that oily substance. You don't want it to all of a sudden get too hot and make a bubble or something. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, that's good advice. All right, so now we're going to take a look at firing, and there's the timer, so you can see exactly.
Yeah, so I start my timer after the binders have burned away. So when you're torch firing metal clay, I always burn my binders off first and then start my timer. And this one was fired for 5 minutes. And then after it was fired, while it was still warm, I transferred it over to my bench block and I started burnishing the gold. That helps it, adhere and make sure that you have a really good bond. And I use a few different types of burnishers. I'll use, my regular metal burnisher. I use an agate burnisher. I've even used like the little ball burnishers. Um, I use a variety. I usually like one to hold and then one to keep burnishing. And if you're using agate burnishers a lot and your piece is really hot, you want to trade those out because you don't want your agate burnishers to get too hot.
Oh, good tip. Good tip.
So, yeah.
So you use quite a few different burnishers while you're doing it. It's not like only one. You work with a few of them.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes I need a different shape or size
Right.
to get
Okay.
into certain areas. So I always have a few different burnishers that I need. And even after I've burnished it down with a metal or agate burnisher, you can even use a soft brass brush as a burnisher
Oh,
too.
interesting. Okay. All right, we're going to hold here. This is the part I love coming up. Carol wants to know, oh, good question, Carol. Can you kiln fire with standard schedule for whatever clay you're using? And if so, when could you take it out of the kiln to still be hot enough, or would you just reheat it with a torch?
Yes, you can kiln fire it. And I mean, I wouldn't take it out before I'd make sure your kiln is less than 400 degrees. You would be okay. And then always, I mean, I have really long tweezers that I take stuff out of my kiln with, like kiln tongs. Um, but if you wanted to wait for it to completely cool down, you could even just put it on a hot plate again if you wanted to make sure that it was warm when you were burnishing it. You wouldn't have to torch it, but you
So
could.
what you're then suggesting is, I didn't realize this. You want to burnish while it's warm.
I do. I think that's just because of part of I feel like it adheres a lot better and because I have done Kembu for so long. But what makes the gold adhere to the silver is a combination of heat and pressure to make
Got
sure
it.
you have a really good molecular bond. I think that when you're doing the raw metal clay with the raw, silver paint, you have more of a bond than you would with the Kembu, just the foil and the
Mm-hmm,
sheet
mm-hmm.
silver. But I still do it just out of like habit and
Okay.
training and just to make sure because, it's not that much of an extra step just to burnish it while it's warm.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was interesting. I didn't realize that. Um, all righty. Now this is the part I love because this is the part where you get to save everything. So Stephanie, tell us about that.
Yep. So was completely dried. I let it dry overnight. And I just am scraping it with my a straight tissue blade. You could, if you were going to be using it again soon, you could let it dry and then just cover it with like some plastic wrap and then rehydrate it directly on that tile. But if for me, I wasn't going to be using it for a while, I just scrape it off and put it back in the container. Um, if you're worried about contaminants, you could keep two separate containers. Keep your one container of the fresh, never used gold dust, and then one with your used gold dust that you want to rehydrate. But the nice thing is nothing is ever wasted. Um, I did, you can it goes such a long ways. I know it's a little intimidating because this little jar is $150, but it goes such a long ways. And like you said, nothing's ever wasted. Use every particle of it.
And what I love is it's like you used much less than. you obviously took out of the jar.
Yes.
Tons went back in. That makes me very happy as far as saving it. And look at the coverage there. I mean, it's great. And as you also said, if you're selling your pieces, you can tell people there's also 24 karat gold. You can up your price that way so people know, oh, I have silver and gold. So I think it's a great selling tool as well.
Yeah, it definitely adds a lot more value to your pieces, um, for sure.
Yeah. Besides the visual, it's stunning. And what's great is as a little highlight, like in this case, the moon, um, it's great. You just pick your little piece that you want to highlight and use it there sparingly, and it makes, I think, a huge difference. So
Mhm.
that's the finished piece that in Stephanie's class. If you don't have that recording yet, I highly recommend you get that. It's great. There's other bonuses with the class, how to make different frames, how to work with those little trees, how to make the stones. There's another bonus of how to grind your stones a little bit. Miss Stephanie, being a tool genius, learned how to do a little tool grinder that you get some pieces from the hardware store. It's great fun, and you can use it for all kinds of things. That being said, do I have a picture of it? I don't have a picture of that kit, Pooh. We have a kit for that whole class too. So you can get
That's
your
a fun one.
silver,
Yeah.
yeah, you can get your silver clay, the molds, the stones. We have everything you need in there to get started in one place. So that's really fun. So use your coupon code and come over and get that class over at CraftCast. It's great fun. Um, uh, you know, Lots to learn. And I know it'll get you all inspired to be making the next thing. That's what's so fun. Um, let's see. Can you tumble? Oh, good question, Carol. It- Carol asked, can you tumble it like you can with Kembu?
Yes. Yep.
Yay.
I obviously I wouldn't do Kimbu either, but don't use any abrasive tumbling medium like hone and highlight or any of the ceramic
Oh,
tumbling
okay.
mediums. But I've used still shot and my magnetic pin finisher, but they both work good.
Okay, good to know. There's your coupon code to get any CraftCast classes. I Love Gold is the code. We also have gift cards. So if you want to give a hint to someone, if they're looking for a gift for you, they can get a card. That's always fun. Or give a card to someone. Oh, thank you, Brenda. The complete kit pictures in the handout. Yeah, everyone just it's not it is definitely easier, Carol, than Kambu. As much as I loved, I still have my what was that sheet called when Celia Fago was teaching us and the hot plate and that it might have been called G5. It's a pure gold foil sheet, but it's like what Stephanie was saying. You breathe and it just sort of floats across.
Yeah. You
So,
can spit on it and it stays in place, but
okay, good. That's good to know. That's what I'll remember. I just found it the other day and I closed it right back up. Like, oh gosh. Um, oh, so let's put the handout. Missy, can you put the handout one more time in there so everyone can look at everything? And in your handout is all the links to all, and so it's all right there. So you don't have to worry. And the recording you'll get an email about when the recording is ready. Um, I don't know, to be honest, how many gold kits they have right now. So if you're thinking about getting, I'm just saying don't wait too long. I'm just saying just need to put that out there. And I think that's it. Any other questions? I mean, isn't that ridiculously great? So here's what that product looks like one more time too, so you can see. And up there in the upper right, that's the other kind of a coil border that also Stephanie shows how to do for the pendants in that class. And your bales and everything. So she's really good, Carol. I'm saying, Steph, she knows her. She has all
thank
the
you.
answers and
I
she
don't know
does beautiful
everything.
work. Yeah, you're good. Well, you're also smart. If you didn't know the answer, you say, I don't know. We have to check it out. That's the
Yeah.
best kind of smart. So we love that. So thank you everyone for coming. You'll get an email when the recording is ready. This is the last time I'm pretty sure we'll be live and something fun before the holidays. So whatever holiday you're celebrating, we celebrate everything in this house. So it's a lot of holidays. I celebrate time to do some crafting, but we have it all going on. So all of you enjoy it. You'll be getting information from Craftcast. We have great classes coming up in the new year. So I love seeing all your names and coming on. So, and also, Missy, can you just pop in there our Facebook page, Chat with Craftcast? Because if you make anything or have any questions, we're building our community over there. Merry Christmas to you, Anne. So it's a great place to where I put things and I put any information coming up. But we love to see all of your pictures there. And also, if you have any questions, it's a great place to do all that. There you go, right there. Just join because we enjoy hanging out and having fun. So everyone, Stephanie, thank you so much for doing this. Happy
Thank you.
holidays. And I'll
Yes,
see
happy
all of
holidays.
you after the new year.
Thank you,
Everyone, take care.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.